everyone, it's good to see you again. We're going to go over the probable cause affidavit of Detective Ron Ball. And I was going to save this and do this tonight during the live, but I've read this now a few times. And I feel like between her court hearing that's coming up and also the press conference that we have to look forward to this evening, adding this in its entirety into that whole scenario would be a lot. Now, of course, I would like to cover this, and we definitely will, but I want you guys to be acquainted with it before we get to that point. So let's go ahead and jump in and see what it says. Detective Ron Ball of the Rexburg Police Department, being first duly sworn under oath, depose and states the following. The information contained herein is true and correct to the best of my knowledge and belief. Section number 2 simply talks about, statement number 2 is simply Lieutenant Ron Ball's resume, if you will, and it explains why he is qualified to give the statements he's about to give. So let's move on to number 3. On the afternoon of November 25th, 2019, the Rexburg Police Department was contacted by Gilbert, Arizona Police Department about a missing child, JJ Vallow. JJ is a 7-year-old boy with autism who is supposed to be living with his adoptive mother, LoriVallow. JJ's grandmother, Kay, had contacted the Gilbert Police Department about a welfare check for JJ. LoriVallow also has a daughter, Tylee Ryan. As described further in this affidavit, while Rexburg PD was investigating the disappearance of JJ, the investigators grew to include a search for Tylee, who is also missing and has not been seen since September 8th, 2019. I am aware that LoriVallow moved to Rexburg with JJ near the first week of September 2019. I am aware that JJ was enrolled for 3 weeks at Kennedy Elementary School in Rexburg. I am further aware that he was seen by neighbors at and near his apartment in Rexburg. Through the investigation, RPD has learned that the last day JJ was seen alive was on September 23rd, 2019 at Kennedy Elementary School. On September 24th, 2019, LoriVallow informed the school that JJ would no longer be attending and that Lori would homeschool him. Kennedy Elementary has informed RPD that no other school has made requests for JJ's school transcripts. We have not been able to find any witnesses who have seen JJ since September 24th of 2019. I am familiar with LoriVallow because the RPD had previously been contacted by the Gilbert, Arizona and Chandler, Arizona police departments who requested help to obtain search warrants for a vehicle in Lori's possession. Said vehicle was related to a possible attempted murder of Lori's niece's ex-husband, Brandon Boudreaux, in Arizona. I'm aware that Detective Ray had also performed intermittent surveillance on LoriVallow at the request of the Gilbert Police Department, starting on November 1st, 2019. Detective Ray reports that he never once saw JJ when he was performing surveillance during the month of November 2019. The vehicle mentioned in paragraph 6 of this affidavit is a 2018 gray Jeep Wrangler bearing Texas license plate number LWD0997. Said vehicle is registered to Charles Vallow, who is the deceased husband of LoriVallow. The Gilbert Police Department was interested in this vehicle because it had been identified in an attempted shooting of Brandon Boudreaux in Gilbert, Arizona on October 2nd, 2019. Brandon had previously been married to LoriVallow's niece, Melanie. At the time of this attempted shooting, Brandon witnessed the Jeep, which he recognized as being the same vehicle that Tylee Ryan regularly drove. Brandon observed a rifle with a silencer come out of the rear window of the Jeep, and then Brandon's vehicle was shot once in the front driver's door frame. As Brandon drove away, the Jeep followed but eventually turned a different direction. This same Jeep, observed by Brandon, was seized pursuant to a search warrant in November of 2019 in Rexburg, Idaho. It is significant that the vehicle Tylee reportedly regularly drove was still in Rexburg nearly 2 months after the last known sighting of Tylee. I am aware through contact with the Gilbert and Chandler Police Departments that Lori's husband, Charles Vallow, was shot on July 11, 2019 by Lori's brother, Alex Cox. LoriVallow is now married to Chad Daybell from Fremont County, Idaho. Chad Daybell's wife, Tammy Daybell, died in Fremont County, Idaho on November 19, 2019. I was informed that Chad and Lori married approximately 2 weeks after the death of Tammy Daybell. I later confirmed that they were married on November 5, 2019 on the island of Kauai in Hawaii. Through our investigation, RPD discovered photographs of their wedding on a beach in Hawaii Neither JJ or Tylee are seen in any of these photographs. On November 26, 2019, Detective Ray and Detective Hope from the RPD went to Lori's home located in Rexburg to conduct a welfare check. Detectives Ray and Hope met with Lori's brother Alex Cox and Chad Daybell outside of the residence. Chad acted as if he didn't know Lori very well and stated he didn't know her phone number. Alex told the detectives that JJ was with his grandma, Kay Woodcock, in Louisiana, which was not likely to be true due to the fact that Kay was the individual who first called in a missing child report. Alex said that Lori may be in apartment 107. Detective Ray and Hope went to apartment 107, but the apartment was completely empty and vacant. At this time, they called me and asked me to come to the premises to help search for JJ. Shortly after calling me, Detective Ray called me again and indicated that he saw Chad Daybell driving a black Chevrolet Equinox away from the residence. Detective Ray stopped Chad and asked him again if he had seen JJ. Chad responded that the last time he had seen JJ was in apartment 107 in October. He also admitted he knew Lori Vallow's phone number and gave it to the detective. On that same day, myself and Detective Stubbs of the RPD located and spoke with Lori Vallow in her apartment number 175. We identified ourselves as RPD officers. Lori told us that JJ was in Gilbert, Arizona with a friend named Melanie Gibb. We obtained Melanie's phone number from Lori. We ended our contact with Lori and immediately attempted to call Melanie Gibb. We were unable to contact her. Because Detective Stubbs and I were unable to contact Melanie Gibb, we immediately contacted Lori Vallow again, and we requested that she call Melanie Gibb. At this time, Lori told us that Melanie and JJ were at the movie Frozen 2, so it was unlikely Melanie could answer the phone. We instructed Lori to call Melanie Gibb and have her call us so we could verify the location of JJ. By the evening of November 26, 2019, we had still not heard from Melanie Gibb, so RPD informed Detective Ryan Pillar of the Gilbert Police Department of the information we had received regarding the children being with Melanie Gibb. I was informed later that evening around 9:30 p.m. that Gilbert police went to the home of Melanie Gibb. Melanie was not home, but Detective Pillar contacted her by phone and she stated that JJ was not staying at her Arizona house and had not been there for several months. On December 6, 2019, RPD was contacted by Melanie Gibb and informed that both Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow called Melanie on November 26 at separate times and asked her to tell the police that she had JJ even though JJ was not with her. Melanie informed RPD that she declined Chad and Lori's request. This further establishes that the statement made to law enforcement by Lori Vallow on November 26, 2019 was false and that Lori Vallow knew it was false. The statement Lori made to RPD about JJ being with Melanie Gibb delayed the investigation into the whereabouts and safety of JJ by requiring us to take time to investigate a lead that was verified as false. On November 27, 2019, RPD obtained search warrants to search the following properties: Lori Vallow's apartment, Melanie Boudreau's apartment, and Alex Cox's apartment. It does state that Alex's apartment had nothing in it other than a couple of small items in its garage. All three apartments are part of the same complex. JJ was not located at any of the residences. It appeared to me that most of the clothing in Lori's apartment had been removed. Other furniture was still inside the residence. RPD believed that she left Rexburg with Chad Daybell the night of November 26, 2019. Melanie later confirmed that Chad and Lori did leave Rexburg on the night of the 26th. During the search of Lori Vallow's apartment, we found evidence of JJ's prescription. I have learned through research that his prescription is a tranquilizer prescribed to treat irritability caused by autism. The prescription was filled for JJ in January of 2019 in Arizona. The bottle still contained 17 pills. We have verified through the Idaho State Pharmacy Board that the prescription had not been filled in the state of Idaho. On November 27, 2019, RPD also served a search warrant on Lori Vallow's storage unit located at Self Storage Plus in Rexburg, Idaho. Inside of the storage unit, we found a blanket with pictures of JJ on it, a blanket with pictures of Tylee on it, a backpack with JJ's initials on it, toys that appeared to be appropriate for a young boy, winter clothing, other children's clothing, bags, a scooter, and photo albums. RPD was further made aware that the credit debit card Lori Vallow provided to Self Storage Plus was declined on January 2nd of 2020. The owner of Self Storage Plus has reported to law enforcement that as regular operating procedure, he has reached out to Lori by phone, text, and email, but has not heard back from her. At this time, LoriVallow has not attempted to provide another debit credit card to Self Storage Plus. Soon after we executed the search warrants to find JJ at the apartments in Rexburg, Gilbert Police asked us if we had any word of Tylee being in Rexburg. Tylee is LoriVallow's biological daughter from a marriage to Joseph Ryan, who is now deceased. Tylee has a brother named Colby Ryan. I'm aware that Gilbert Police Department has been in contact with Colby. Colby reports that the last time he spoke with Tylee was on August 30th, 2019, via FaceTime. He informed Gilbert Police that when he tried to contact Tylee after that time, Lori would give excuses as to why Tylee could not talk to him. Through our investigation, RPD has been informed that Tylee moved to Rexburg with Lori on or about September 1st or 2nd, 2019. We have been informed that Lori told Melanie Gibb that Tylee was attending classes at BYU, Idaho. School records indicate that Tylee was never enrolled at BYU, Idaho, or any other school affiliated with BYU. RPD verified that LoriVallow moved into her apartment in Rexburg with JJ and Tylee on or around September 1st or 2nd, 2019. This information was corroborated by LoriVallow's neighbors who lived in the same complex in the next door apartment. They saw Tylee at or around the residence when she moved in with Lori. These same neighbors actually helped LoriVallow move into her apartment. They saw Tylee briefly a couple of times after she moved in, but have not seen her since the first couple of weeks of September. Their son played with JJ multiple times. These same neighbors have further informed us through Detective Stubbs of the RPD that one of their children went to Lori's apartment sometime in late September to play with JJ, and the child was informed by LoriVallow that JJ was not there and he had gone to stay with his grandma. Another neighbor of LoriVallow, who lived directly across the courtyard from Lori, had a doorbell camera that recorded JJ playing outside on September 17th, 2019. Through our investigation, we were able to determine through phone records that Tylee accompanied LoriVallow, Alex Cox, and JJ on a day trip to Yellowstone National Park on September 8th, 2019. We have obtained a photograph of Tylee at the park entrance through the National Park Service. Also, through service of a search warrant, RPD has obtained a photo from LoriVallow's iCloud account of Tylee in Yellowstone National Park that is timestamped on September 8th, 2019. This photo is the last time we can find any record of Tylee being with LoriVallow. We have found no witnesses who can verify they have seen Tylee since September 8th of 2019. RPD has verified that Chad Daybell and LoriVallow flew from Los Angeles to Kauai on American Airlines on December 1st, 2019. This information was obtained through a search warrant served on American Airlines. RPD cannot find any information suggesting they have returned to the mainland of the United States since that time, and it appears they have been in Hawaii since they arrived on December 1st, 2019. Those same records established that JJ and Tylee were not with their mother, LoriVallow, when she flew to Kauai. I'm aware of Chad and Lori's current address in Princeville, Kauai. I am in contact with the Kauai police who are monitoring the condo in which Chad and Lori are staying. The children have not been sighted with Chad or Lori. Further, I am aware that on multiple occasions, Chad and Lori checked into Kauai Beach Resort and that no children checked in with them. That information was provided by an employee of the resort. Detective Chad of the Kauai Police Department has performed surveillance on Chad and Lori in Kauai. He has also informed us that he has seen LoriVallow with Chad Daybell at least 3 times since he was made aware that Chad and Lori were residing on Kauai. Detective Chad has informed us that he has not once seen JJ or Tylee with Chad and Lori. On December 20th, 2019, the Rexburg Police and the FBI published a press release announcing JJ and Tylee were missing, that RPD was looking for them, and asking for the public's help in locating them. Since December 20th, 2019, this case has received national media attention. LoriVallow has refused to provide law enforcement with any information regarding the location of her children, Tylee and JJ. Through this investigation, RPD has learned that LoriVallow used the website care.com to find a babysitter for JJ. Through service of a search warrant on care.com, we were able to verify the identity of the babysitter who LoriVallow had hired to watch JJ. We contacted this babysitter and she informed us that she watched JJ on the 19th of September. She had met with Lori and JJ the day before. The babysitter understood that her employment was to be ongoing. The babysitter reports that on September 24th, 2019, she had reached out to Lori Vallow, and Lori Vallow had told her that JJ had gone to stay with his grandma for several weeks and that the babysitter services were no longer needed. On January 16, 2020, a child protection action was filed by the state of Idaho and Madison County on behalf of JJ and Tylee. The court ordered Lori Vallow to produce JJ and Tylee within 5 days of service of the order to the Rexburg Police Department or to the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare. Lori Vallow was served that order on Saturday, January 25, 2020, by Detective Chad of the Kauai Police Department. Lori did not produce the children within the 5 days of being served and has not produced the children to this date. Other than any current orders in a pending child protection action in Madison County, Idaho, RPD has not found any court order or order establishing guardianship of Tylee with anyone other than Lori Vallow. There is a final decree of adoption from the state of Louisiana establishing Charles and Lori Vallow as the adopted parents of JJ. On the dates between January 24th, 2020 and January 29th, 2020, I was in Hawaii with Detective Ray and the Kauai Police Department. I reviewed video of Lori Vallow being served with the order in the child protection case, which was filmed by the Kauai Police Department. JJ and Tylee were not seen in the video. While we were there, 2 FBI agents, Rory Johnson and Douglas McLeod, assisted us in performing surveillance on Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow. On the morning of January 26, 2020, they observed Chad and Lori on a beach. JJ and Tylee were not with them. During the afternoon of January 26, 2020, I observed the Kauai Police Department serve search warrants on the persons of Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow and on a black Ford Explorer they had rented. Said warrants were served on them in the parking lot of the beach resort. JJ and Tylee were not with Lori and Chad. The following items were located in their possession: birth certificates for both Tylee and JJ, Tylee's financial transaction card issued by her bank, JJ's iPad, another iPad which was logged into JJ's Apple account, JJ's school registration receipts from Kennedy Elementary in Rexburg, Idaho. Through our investigation, RPD learned that Tylee's bank card, which was found with Lori Vallow, is still active and has been used since the last sighting of Tylee. On January 26, 2020, after search warrants were served on the persons in the vehicle of Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow, a search warrant was issued on the condo in which they were staying in Kauai. I personally observed the Kauai police perform the search. In the garage of the condo, there were 2 beach chairs, 2 yoga and fitness mats, and 2 beach towels. There were no items in the garage that appeared to belong to a minor child. There was nothing found in the condo that appeared to belong to either Tylee or JJ. Further, there was nothing found in the condominium that would indicate that a 7-year-old boy had been there, such as children's clothing, toys, books, medication, etc. There was a second room other than the master bedroom in the condominium. That second room had no signs of being lived in or otherwise occupied. Through this investigation, RPD discovered that JJ has a service dog for his autism. The dog was named Bailey and was trained by Dog Training Elite in Arizona. On July 22nd, Lori sent the company an email asking about finding another family for Bailey due to a change in life circumstances. Dog Training Elite picked up Bailey on August 30th, 2019. Through this investigation, I interviewed Chad Daybell's parents, Jack and Sheila Daybell, in Springville, Utah. They informed me that Chad and Lori told them in November that Lori Vallow was an empty nester. Through this investigation, RPD has interviewed Jason and Samantha William. Samantha is the sister of deceased Tammy Daybell. Jason and Samantha informed RPD that Chad had told them Lori had no juvenile children. On February 16th of 2020, RPD received a tip from an individual in Maui, Hawaii, that Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow were renting a car from Hertz Car Rental at the Maui airport. The informant provided a picture of Chad and Lori. JJ and Tylee were not with Chad and Lori in the picture. Throughout this investigation, RPD and the FBI have reviewed LoriVallow's bank and financial information. No information has been found which would suggest that LoriVallow is providing any money to anyone to care for JJ and Tylee. RPD has found no evidence or verification of anyone providing for the housing, food, clothing, education, or medical care of JJ since September 24th and Tylee since September 8th. 2019. As of the date of this affidavit, JJ and Tylee are still missing. Due to the following, LoriVallow is the legal parent and guardian of Tylee and JJ. Nobody has seen or verifiably heard from Tylee since September 8th. Nobody has seen or heard from JJ since September 23rd, 2019. LoriVallow has verifiably been living on the island of Kauai since the beginning of December 2019 with her new husband, Chad Daybell, that not once have they been seen with Tylee or JJ. The condominium currently occupied by Chad and Lori contains no evidence that any person other than Chad and Lori is living there. The medication prescribed to JJ has not been filled in the state of Idaho at a time when JJ was verifiably with LoriVallow. Tylee's bank card was in the possession of LoriVallow, even though Tylee is not with LoriVallow. Lori and Chad Daybell have represented Chad's family that Lori has no juvenile children. LoriVallow claimed that she was going to homeschool JJ, but she is not with JJ, and no educational facility has requested JJ's school records. No verification of another caregiver for JJ or Tylee has been found, and that as of January 30th, 2020, LoriVallow failed to comply with a court order to produce the minor children to the Rexburg, Idaho Police Department or the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare within 5 days of being served with an order to do so. I believe probable cause exists that LoriVallow has deserted Tylee and JJ pursuant to Idaho Code 18-401, which states, shall be a felony for any person who, having any child under 18 years dependent upon him or her for care, education, or support, desert such child in any manner whatever, with the intent to abandon. I further believe probable cause exists that LoriVallow intentionally and willfully abandoned JJ and Tylee pursuant to codes 18-403 and 18-405. The fact that LoriVallow provided verifiably false information to RPD by telling RPD that JJ was located in Arizona with Melanie Gibb. That said false information obstructed and delayed the investigation into the location of JJ by requiring RPD to investigate a false lead, and the fact that LoriVallow solicited Melanie Gibb to corroborate the false information Lori gave PD. I believe probable cause exists that LoriVallow did resist, delay, or obstruct a public officer in the discharge or attempt to discharge a duty of his office, specifically investigating the report of a missing child. Due to the fact that LoriVallow did solicit or request Melanie Gibb to provide false information to RPD regarding the location of JJ, which would have further obstructed or delayed RPD's investigation, I believe probable cause exists that LoriVallow did commit the crime of solicitation to commit a crime. Due to the fact that LoriVallow did refuse to obey a lawful order from the court in the child protective case by failing to produce JJ and Tylee to RPD on the 30th of January, probable cause exists that LoriVallow did violate Idaho Code 18-1801. Due to the following facts, I believe LoriVallow is a flight risk. Within the day of when we met with LoriVallow on November 26, 2019 to ask about the whereabouts of the children, LoriVallow had left the state and was in Hawaii within a week. The charges being filed against LoriVallow are serious. 2 of the charges are felony abandonment of a child, which carry up to 14 years in prison. LoriVallow has no significant ties to Madison County. She no longer has a home here, and she has abandoned a significant amount of property here. LoriVallow has already displayed a willingness to disobey and ignore a court order by not producing Tylee and JJ in Rexburg, even though she was specifically ordered by the court to do so and had adequate time to do so. LoriVallow and Chad Daybell have significant financial resources. I am aware that Chad Daybell received at least $430,000 in life insurance proceeds upon the death of his wife Tammy. As such, Lori and Chad have resources sufficient to help them travel and hide from law enforcement and the court. Based on the above information, I hereby request that a warrant be issued for the arrest of Lori Vallow for the following: 2 felony counts of desertion and non-support of children, 1 misdemeanor count of resisting and obstructing officers, 1 misdemeanor count of criminal solicitation, 1 misdemeanor count of criminal contempt. I respectfully request, based on the above, the bond be set in this matter in the amount of $5 million to secure Lori Vallow's appearance in court, and this is signed and dated February 18th of 2020. This 14-page document absolutely gives us a lot of information. We are going to talk more about it tonight during the live. I will be back here live between 6:30 and 7 o'clock, and we will get the ball rolling. We will talk about what happens in court, what they're going to say at the press conference, and of course, what we've just gone over in this document. Thank you guys for tuning in again. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe and ring that bell so you can be part of the conversation as this case progresses further. And I would definitely like to see all of you guys here tonight for the live. Until then, you guys have a great day. Bye.